A new memo from LA's Homeless Services Authority is painting a heartbreaking picture. There's no more shelter space for families.
Yeah, this comes after big funding cuts that are leaving more parents and kids without a place to go. We're joined live by Elly Yu, childhood senior reporter for LAist. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Can you talk a little bit about what what struck you the most when you first read this memo and what you saw initially?
Yeah, so this is a draft memo that LAist has been working on at least since July, the LA Homeless Services Authority. And it's a memo basically about messaging for contractors who serve families experiencing homelessness on what to tell them when they come to their doors for help. You know, that they're out of housing resources, that they're full, shelters are full. So one of the proposed messages reads, quote, due to current funding limitations in LA County's family coordinated entry system, we are unable to enroll new families in interim housing, that's shelter or motel vouchers, housing navigation or rental subsidy program. So I think what struck me most was that, you know, housing resources are so scarce that this agency has to draft, you know, talking points to contractors on what to tell families. You know, LAist confirmed it's working on such a memo, but says it couldn't comment further on the language as it's still, you know, subject to change.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know for families who are seeking shelter, who may not know about this memo. When they call looking for help, what are they being told?
They're saying that, you know, they're being told that shelters right now are at capacity. I should say that these family service providers, they run what are called family solution centers. They are still open. They are still taking families through the doors, but, you know, the housing resources that they used to have are just no longer available right now. I mean, they still are helping families with things like referrals or helping, you know, them get a job, counseling, things like that, helping them be connected to food banks. But in terms of sort of tangible sheltered resources and rental subsidy programs to help them be housed, those are currently full right now.
You know, I know we've talked a lot about the city's budget is, you know, there's an issue there. There's an issue in problems federally that we've seen. Is that why funding dropped so sharply this year, or are there other things playing into this?
That's right. There's been a large drop specifically in state funding, you know, as the state also faces budget issues. But this funding was used for resources like motel vouchers and rental subsidy programs to help families. But, you know, even before this funding issue, family service providers have been telling me that there have been challenges in serving families in the homelessness system, that the homelessness system was sort of originally designed to help single individuals, adults that, you know, for instance, when you're thinking about motels or room occupancy limits, those are often 3 to 4 in a room. What do you do with a large family? Do you split them up? How do you keep them together? What if it's a single mother? You know, can the children stay by themselves in a room? Or, you know, another consideration is, are these shelters close to children's schools? You know, affordable housing units also tend to be more one-bedroom units, and families need larger units. So there were already challenges to serving this population.
Exactly, which I think many people were aware of. So where can these families go if the shelters are full and those so many other complications with other types of housing for them?
I talked to one service provider who told me that right now they're referring families to safe parking sites instead. LAist says there are other programs that providers can refer families to, like faith-based organizations or 211. But in terms of like housing resources right now, there's not a lot left. Family service providers are worried that this means more people will be experiencing homelessness in years to come. And I talked to one service provider who told me, you know, just to put some numbers on it, for instance, last year they served 400 families in a year, and since December they've had to turn 700 away. Usually families, they say, tend to live in their cars close to their schools, and right now they're really worried about sort of what this means for homelessness in the years to come.
So is there any plan for more funding to reopen doors? Are we looking at maybe private partnerships, or what do we need to have happen here?
I have, you know, it's unclear whether there's more funding to come, but I think right now providers are just sort of trying to sound the alarm to elected officials that, you know, this is a problem here, that they have no more space to house families. And this is at a time where, you know, overall homelessness has declined in the region. And they say, you know, that's not going to happen. That's going to get worse if there's no resources for these families.
Oh, so terrible to hear that people are going through that. But Elly, thank you so much for joining us and bringing us the latest on this situation.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. You can find the link to this article so you can read more about it on LAist. Just go to kcalnews.com and click Seen on TV.